Myself Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, we will be continuing our algorithm development work using the indicator Average Directional Movement Index (DMI) in short. In today's session, we will see how we can design and develop the algorithm for the execution of the buy side, and in subsequent session, the complete setup, including the sell side, will be done. But so far, we have been able to only get the initial blocks in place. So this is the setup so far. This is Visual JForex board. And in prior session, I had gotten these if blocks where the instrument subscription has been done. Then here, position amount was defined. Then these three DMI blocks have been taken. First one is of 4 hours. These two are of 5 minutes each. And to look at the price action, we are also relying on the get historical candle and the important one. All are important but of varying degrees. And to look at the entry point, we will be using the combination of these three candles, 5 minutes, and these two are of 10 seconds. And to define the stop loss and target price, we will be considering the price difference of this last hourly candle. And here we are taking this candle high and candle low difference of last hourly candle, and using that we will be making the stop loss and target price dynamic. We will go with the risk reward ratio of 1:2. Now I will give you a brief refresher of the logic behind this algorithm when it will be looking to execute the trade. If you remember, well and good. If not, I'm going to explain to you one more time, and we will simply limit the discussion in this session to the buy side of the equation. First thing first, for any buy trade to execute, in this case we are using the Euro USD as our instrument of choice, and is the 4 hourly time frame. Okay, so for any buy trade to execute, we need the DI plus to be above the DI minus. That means the DI plus, this line, if you consider on the chart, needs to be higher. And right now, if we consider the current price action, the DI minus value is actually higher than the DI plus. So in this kind of markets, no buy trade will happen. So only when we have this DI plus output plotted above the DI minus output, we will have the permission for our algorithm to go and execute the buy trade. And that's as simple as it sounds. And we are not considering the ADX on the 4 hourly charting, 4 hourly time period. But once we are sure of the underlying momentum, we will be looking to execute the trade whenever we see that the optimum entry point has arisen. And by optimum, I mean there is enough of price momentum. So to make sure there is enough of price momentum, we are taking the help of ADX, and ADX should be about 25 for the last 5 minutes, and it should be rising. So we will be comparing it to the penultimate candle's ADX value, and also taking its absolute value, and it should be about 25. And provided these conditions get fulfilled, we will look for the execution of the trade whenever we see the crossover taking shape, whenever we have the DI plus value rising above DI minus value, we will be executing the trade. So in last 5 minutes, the DI plus value should have risen from below, and as soon as this crossover get confirmed, we will be looking to execute the trade. So that's kind of simple, right? So now we head back to the Visual JForex board, and here we will need to bring in the if blocks to define the conditions. Even I am not really sure how many blocks we will need, so we will count as we go along. First thing first, we need these 4 hourly output values, DI plus 23 and DI minus 23 to be compared, and first input will need to be greater than second input. Okay, So that's the only thing we need from the 4 hourly DI block, DMI block, and then we shift our attention to the lower time frame. And in this case, this is the DMI block of 5 minute candle period and shift is 1. So this is the last 5 minute candle close DMI output values, and we will need DI plus value to be above DI minus. So DI plus 27 needs to be greater than DI minus 27. Okay. And in the penultimate 5 minute time period, the conditions should have been inverted of what they are in last 5 minutes. So we will need this DI plus 28 to have been below DI minus 28. Okay. And we will need a couple of more if blocks. So DI plus 28, DI minus 28 needs to be compared, and the first input should be less than second input. Okay, so as soon as crossover happens, we can look to execute the trade provided other conditions are in place. And we also have to take the help of ADX, and ADX 27 should be above ADX 28. That will mean that the ADX value is on the rise. And I had explained to you why we are designing like this, to make sure that the trade gets executed in the initial hours or initial minutes of the momentum picking up. And once already we have seen significant move, we don't really want to get involved when the price action is going sideways, and that is the reason this condition is being put in place. First input greater than second input, and after that we will also have to add one more condition, that the ADX 27 needs to be above 25. Okay. So first input greater than second input. And with this, we can move on to the entry point, and entry point is going to be the last 5 minute candle. And I think one more condition we should add is that last 5 minute candle should have closed higher than its opening value. So we will need to compare candle 29's close and open. Auto created variable candle 29, candle close and candle open. First input greater than second input, and as soon as the price starts to move above the last 5 minute close, we will be looking to execute the trade. And for that we have to compare candle 30 and candle 31's closing values with the candle 29. So candle 29 close will be common. It is going to be considered as the second input, and candle 31, I think here by mistake the shift value is 3, it should be 2, not 3. Okay, candle 31 closing should have been lower. First input less than second input, and after that candle 30 goes on to close higher. And with this we have defined the logical conditions. Now we need to add the trade command block. For the buy command, open at market, As soon as this condition get fulfilled, we will be placing the order on the market price, first input greater than second input. Now we have to define these input values, and this is where this difference which we have calculated will come in use. So prior to defining two variables of stop loss and take profit, let us arrange these if blocks on the lower side, so it becomes much easier for us to understand. Okay, now coming back to the calculation part, I will need to add two more calculation expressions here. One for defining the stop loss, another for take profit. And this actual price difference, we'll take it and multiply it by pip conversion factor. All we have to do is convert this double value in the integer format, and for that, given the fact that we are relying on Euro USD as our instrument of choice, we will need to multiply this value by 10 raised to the power 4. So I will create a new variable with that much value. Okay, save, and this is going to be A1 into A2 stop loss. I will create the variable here only, as integer type is needed. So it is going to be stop loss of the buy side, and its value will be derived from this calculation. Okay, and to make the risk reward ratio, we will take the stop loss and multiply it with 2. I will create a new variable, and it is going to be A1 into A2, and output value is going to be the take profit for this trade command. Alright, and I will need to take multiple action blocks, component trading. Yes, it is here. For the time being, I will join it, but once we will start adding the conditions for the sale side, we will need to disconnect it. But for the time being, it is good. I will join this here. Okay. We also have to get these other parameters defined. Default instrument is going to remain as it is. This lot amount I will change to 0.1 million. This should be kept according to your equity. Slippage, I think slippage of 2 pips is good enough. Okay. So with this, we have completed the defining of the conditions which need to be fulfilled for any buy trade to execute using this indicator DMI, average directional movement index. I will color code this to check whether the trade iteration flow is going through all the way till this order execution block. Yes, it is. So we have defined this condition using 8 if blocks, if and then the trade command block. Quite simple, isn't it? Yes, it is. So I hope you will be able to complete this setup on your Visual JForex board, and then whenever possible, you run the test on the historical data on JForex platform and see whether it is profitable or not. And do come back for the next session in which the sell side will be completed. So you will have the full algorithmic structure ready to be implemented on the market platform. Okay. So thank you all for joining in. Do subscribe to the Dukascopy webinar channel. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.